Our Bible text is Psalm 36, the verses 7 to 9. How precious is your loving kindness, O God! Therefore the children of men put their trust under the shadow of your wings. They are abundantly satisfied with the fullness of your house, and you give them drink from the river of your pleasures. For with you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light. So Psalm 36. So at the beginning it says that this is to the chief musician, a psalm of David, the servant of the Lord. Part of verse 1. But this psalm is not easy to categorize, because you cannot just say it's this kind of psalm or that kind of psalm. There are three distinct elements to the psalm if we look at the overall structure. If we look at verses 1 to 4, it's a kind of a lament, but there are also wisdom elements attached to it. Because here it describes the philosophy of the wicked. And what it does essentially is it depicts human sinfulness. Then from verses 5 to 9, you can say this is a hymn, also a praise, because it exalts God's loyal love, His righteousness, as well as His care. So this portion of the psalm is essentially a praise of God's character. And then verses 10 to 12, this is a petition. It's a prayer for divine protection and for perseverance in faith. So here we find an appeal for sustaining grace. So it's a bit of a lament with some wisdom. There's a hymn element to the psalm and also a petition element to the psalm. So if we look firstly on that first section, that lament, there the psalmist writes, "An oracle within my heart concerning the transgression of the wicked. There is no fear of God before his eyes." So there the author laments, the wicked, they do not fear God. And he carries on, "For he flatters himself in his own eyes, when he finds out his iniquity and when he hates. The words of his mouth are wickedness and deceit. He has ceased to be wise and to do good. He devises wickedness on his bed. He sets himself in a way that is not good. He does not abhor evil." So we can see how the psalmist describes sin as an inherent feature of the wicked. They even plot schemes and think evil while they're lying in their beds. So this is their philosophy. They don't care about the good. They do not fear God. They do not fear the Lord. That's the philosophy of the wicked. And the next section is where now our hymn, where our psalmist exalts God's loyal love and also his righteousness and care. Because he praises God's character. And the psalmist uses many metaphors. If we go to verse 5, "Your mercy, O Lord, is in the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the clouds. Your righteousness is like the great mountains. Your judgments are a great deep." So many metaphors here. And also more of God's characteristics come through if we again read our Bible text. "How precious is your loving kindness, O God! Therefore the children of men put their trust under the shadow of your wings." So God is there for protection. "They are abundantly satisfied with the fullness of your house." So that refers to the temple experience, but also the whole worship experience of Israel. That is God's house. "They are abundantly satisfied with the fullness of your house, and you give them drink from the river of your pleasures." All things that come from God is good. And then the psalmist also says, "For with you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light." So with God, from God comes life and also comes light. Typical biblical features that's associated with God. God's a source of life. God is the source of light. And if we look at this section of verses 5 to 9, The characteristics of God there is explained. We can summarize it as mercy, faithfulness, righteousness, also God's judgments, His divine providence, also His loving kindness, and with Him there's refuge, and also His provision of light and life. Also, kind of temple imagery is used there, where people go to the temple to experience those things. So all these features of God are celebrated in that part of the psalm. And now we come to the final section of the psalm, verses 10 to 12. This is now a petition offered by the psalmist, because it's a prayer for divine protection and perseverance in faith. So it's asking God, God, keep your mercy, your protection on us. So it's an appeal for sustaining grace. If we go to verses 10, "Oh, continue your loving kindness to those who know you, and your righteousness to the upright in heart." So that's now a contrast with those wicked people. So those who are upright in heart and who pursue God and righteousness, He makes a plea specifically for them. Continue your protection, your care for us. "Let not the foot of pride come against me, and let not the hand of the wicked drive me away. There the workers of iniquity have fallen. They have been cast down and are not able to rise." So yeah, the psalmist also gives a glimpse of what will happen to the wicked eventually. Wickedness will not endure. But those who are faithful to God, who are upright in heart, who seek God and His ways, He makes this petition on their behalf. Sustain us with your protection and your divine care. So for all of you who want to read and study more the Bible, specifically the New Testament, as many of you are aware, the church has recently published this book on Paul, an introduction to his life and letters. So it's also available as an e-book. But also this is also a reminder for everyone who's interested in the Gospels that we've also published this book in the past that's also richly illustrated. It's got good information on Jesus, His world, His context, and also the world of the Gospels, and also specifically that this book is also now available as an e-book. So if you want to read more and delve more into the history of the New Testament, these books, also now both available as e-books, are available for sale. So go to our website and the sales page, and all the information is there.